coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I am Simranjit Kaur and you are watching MediaPlex News Now. There are changes in COVID-19 restrictions for restaurants. Tristan Jerevin tells us more.
While the city of Windsor is still in red zone, COVID-19 restrictions are being adjusted to allow restaurants to seat more guests. As of March 20th, new capacity limits now allow for 50% of the indoor dining area to be accessible to the public. Tom Satiriadis, co-owner of Milos Greek Grill in downtown Windsor, is eager to open more of the restaurant, but says that the pandemic is still far from over.
Normally without COVID, we would be at 150 customers inside and out combined, and right now we're at 80. I think there's a lot of people that are very antsy to open for many reasons. A lot of people, their livelihood, they're losing businesses, losing residents. It's caused a financial, economic problem. And so there's people that are following and not following guidelines. And so I think that's going to slow us down a little bit. I think we're going to continue this path at least for another year.
With restaurants opening up to half capacity with respect to standard social distancing rules, Windsor is one step closer to recovery. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tristan Zuderveen.
Downtown is the newest site for vaccinations. Jivan Arora reports.
As of yesterday, people over the age of 60 are eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Tents have been set up outside the COVID-19 vaccination center at University of Windsor's Windsor Hall at the corner of Ferry and Pitt. Online bookings will be closed on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Let's head outside for an early look at the weather with Alexa Fraser. Alexa.
We all have certainly been enjoying this beautiful spring weather. Right now it's 20 degrees Celsius. Stay tuned and I will be back a little later in the show for a 3-day forecast.
Let's catch up with our friends at Crime Stoppers and Constable Sarah Werstein.
March is Fraud Prevention Month, and police are asking residents to talk about frauds with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and seniors. Here are a few simple tips. Never give your personal information over the phone or computer. Never tell anyone passwords. Do not purchase any type of gift cards at the direction of strangers, and do not share the PIN number with anyone. The police will never direct you to withdraw money or threaten you with arrest. Please visit www.antifraudcenter.ca to get more information. Your conversation could save a loved one thousands of dollars. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Social media is rising rapidly, especially after COVID-19 lockdown. Albert Sharp has the story.
I don't think the easiest path for me has ever been the path that actually made things work, you know?
When you think of activism, people typically think of sit-ins, protests, and rallies. However, in the modern era, people are taking their missions online. According to content creator Dara and Fun, people have a variety of ways to spread the messages they care about on the internet.
On TikTok, people often just make videos talking about the certain issues, trying to raise awareness or to say their own stories, their own perspective, as well as like providing links. Like they say they have links in their Linktree and stuff. Same with Instagram is more informational posts.
Social media activism has seen a rise over the last year, with associated hashtags setting new all-time records. As TikTok creator Priscilla Espiritu explains, social media and in-person activism both have their place in making change.
There are places where real progress has been made, and a lot of it is just working with people that can be worked with.
Whether on the web or in your backyard, activists urge you to make your efforts intentional.
And it almost feels like they're completely different spheres.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Albert Sharp.
Today, St. Clair College has completed 1 year of delivering courses online. Kadrian has more.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the majority of courses moving online at St. Clair College. While some classes have returned to in-person learning, many programs are still exclusively online. The Business Administration Marketing Program and the Business Marketing Program were both affected by COVID-19 in the way that they had to shift to online learning. For Program Coordinator Justina Chiarello, moving online wasn't a big switch, but it still presented challenges.
So, marketing research, social media marketing, all of that kind of stuff, it's very conducive to being online. So it wasn't a big switch for me. But having said that, I've had other projects. I used to do a project where it was a big networking project. So I'd have students, kind of network with each other in the classroom. And so definitely had to rethink the way that those kind of projects either redesign the assessments or just kind of rethink how to do that in an online format.
But the courses that still have classes in person, student, teachers, and staff are required to complete a COVID questionnaire before reporting on campus. For MediaPlex News, I'm Cade Ryan.
The fight for gender equality continues, but as Wafal Kudimi reports, there are instances that can remind us how far we have come.
It is March, Women's History Month, the month for looking at the future, but also celebrating trailblazing women worldwide. From Jean Mance, the founder of Canada's first hospital, to the first female officers served with the Canadian Army Medical Corps, women continue their important roles in the society. Ellen van Wegningen is one of the first pioneers in her field. She was appointed as the first female editor-in-chief of the Windsor Star in 2016.
So I think we should celebrate all firsts for women, and it's a reminder that we still have quite a long way to go. I was hoping in my lifetime that we would see the end of firsts, that it would become the norm for women to be in all positions, all kinds of jobs, all kinds of occupations, all kinds of political positions.
Working as a female with the police department deserves to be celebrated. Sergeant Yvonne Ouimet is the Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator.
So for me, Women's History Month is about celebrating the achievements of women in our community, and specifically for me is for the women police officers that came before me.
From the long journey, women asking for their rights in voting towards equality of rights, women have and endure to ease the way for a better equal world. For MediaPlex News, I am Wafal Kudimi.
Despite COVID, the arts in Windsor are alive and well. Albert Sharp reports.
The stage is set for Windsor Feminist Theatre to premiere their latest piece. Letters to Grace is a play based on the book Amazing Grace by Marty Gervais. It is a series of monologues covering letters from nurses to Grace Hospital during World War II. According to lead actress Kiana Porter, this production is not one to be missed.
Well, this one is a wonderful story, and because it's a true story, I feel like it's kind of a little bit more heartfelt just because you get to actually see what these nurses went through and you get to learn about the tight-knit community.
The show is going to be performed at the Water's Edge Event Center on Riverside Drive.
Now before the production's ready to be staged here at Water's Edge, there's a little more work to be done behind the scenes.
While most of the rehearsal process has been over Zoom, the cast has begun working in person under current COVID-19 restrictions.
We had the ensemble was rehearsing, and we had our vocal chorus, a few of them who could make it, and we quickly toured the space and then rehearsed outside in the parking lot and in the little courtyard area of the Water's Edge Event Center.
Opening night is March 24th. For MediaPlex News, I'm Albert Sharp.
Let's take a look at how a Windsor non-profit is holding a virtual fundraiser for mental health. United Way started funding called iMove, mainly for the mental support of youth from March 8. The COVID-19 has had hard impact on mental health of youth and children as compared to other population. United Way invited people to set achievable fitness goals and to collect pledges to support them across Windsor, Essex. Karen Brady is the Marketing and Communications Manager at the United Way.
We've always supported the most vulnerable in our community, and we've done that in many different ways. So we normally invest every year in different initiatives.
The event is not a proper people gathering. It is just a virtual platform via Zoom. You can follow the hashtag #IMoveForUnitedWay to see who is involved. Registration is now open at www.weareunited.com/imove. For MediaPlex News, I am Simranjeet Kaur. Reading is important for many reasons, and Jessica Tatton tells us why.
When someone asks you what your favorite book is, what do you say? If you aren't a reader, you may not have an answer. Don't worry, I'm guilty of it too. Reading may sound like a tiring task for some, But is what they say about reading really true? The short answer is yes. According to Harvard Medical School and Yale University School of Public Health, reading can add years to your life. People who read books regularly have a 20% lower risk of dying over the next 12 years, compared with people who aren't readers. Reading also helps prevent disorders like dementia. Researchers from the Mayo Clinic studied the daily habits of 200 people with mild memory disorders. They found that middle-aged readers who devoted time to reading face 40% less risk of experiencing further memory impairment. So pick up a book once in a while. It could brighten your day or save your life.
As the saying goes, in real estate, it's location, location, location. And as Zachary Bellog found out, there are many locations to be had in Windsor.
Empty, empty, and empty. Everywhere you step, there seem to be many vacant buildings on a stretch of Tecumseh Road East in South Walkerville, leaving some business owners to look at boarded-up buildings day in and day out. Brad March, owner of Schwab's and Primo's, said it is a little disappointing to see so many vacancies.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. We've had a lot of good clientele in the neighborhood, and to see them leave is really disappointing.
Just last year, there was a fire at Hogan's Printing right behind me, which also caused damage to nearby Palazzo Moda and the CIBC Bank, only adding to the growing numbers of vacancies in the neighborhood.
We had a tattoo place, the CIBC's gone now, there was a fire, and seeing empty places, it's hard in the neighborhood.
As of currently, there are no plans for a business improvement association. However, there have been talks about one in the area.
We've been trying to put something together with Littlefoot Foods. I know he's been talking about it, but right now there's no BIA.
Despite no plans for a BIA, residents say there should be a little more effort into dealing with the vacancies. For MediaPlex News, I'm Zachary Ballog.
Kadrian is here to tell us how SERB and EI benefits will affect taxpayers.
COVID-19 has affected a lot of parts of everyday life, tax season included. This year will be different for many Canadians. From March 15th to October 3rd, 2020, over $81 billion were collected by Canadian residents on SERB and employment insurance. As of April 28, 2020, 1 in 5 Canadian businesses had laid off more than 80% of their staff. Many people who have been depending on SERB and EI to pay their bills will actually owe money on their tax returns. Norma Levesque is a tax strategist with a tax expert.
Those who received SERB that were on an employment income that was in lower to middle bracket, they're all going to have to pay taxes. Unfortunately, I say that if they didn't put any RSPs or things like that, because most people who got the SERB for the 7 months, and I'm talking about those that got it for the whole period, they made $14,000 with no tax withheld on it. So if they made 20 at their work, they're already in a tax bracket of at least 13%, which means now on 14,000 you pay 13%. That's a $1,500 bill.
Tax experts recommend Canadians fill out their return forms as soon as possible to avoid the deadline on April 30th. For MediaPlex News, I'm Cade Ryan.
Reporter Wafal Kudimi tells us how people are saying goodbye during COVID.
In this big world, nothing can be certain more than death. Losing your loved ones is hard at any time, but the coronavirus pandemic has made it harder to say a last goodbye. So how does a funeral ceremony got impacted by COVID-19? Jerome Brannagan has lost his mother on February 10th.
For our celebration of life for my mother was we would have had that room filled with many, many family and friends. And that would have been an opportunity to reconnect with our family and friends, and there would have been great joy, great laughter filling the room. And that laughter and that joy would have put everybody's heart at peace.
People who serve families to memorialize their loved one at a funeral service have learned more about technology during this pandemic. Brian Parent is a founder and managing director at Families First Funeral Home.
We've learned to use platforms certainly such as Zoom, Skype. We live cast through our YouTube channel to allow friends and family who are unable to travel here to be a part of the service.
One of the hardest things that you may face in this life is to say the last goodbye for your loved ones. Rest in peace, all people who passed away during this pandemic, and our condolences to their families. For MediaPlex News, I am Wafal Kudimi.
There are many stresses in our life, and Tristan Jerevine is here with some tips to help us cope.
At some point in their lives, nearly 30% of adults are affected by some form of anxiety disorder. This, however, is not the same as generalized anxiety. Nearly every person on the planet has experienced moments of anxiety. Realizing you forgot to study for that math test, noticing your phone is on 1% battery, the never-ending cycle of wondering if you remembered where you left your keys. Normal anxiety like this relates to a specific situation and only lasts as long as the problem does, a proportional level of panic that is realistic in comparison to the issue. Anxiety disorders aren't as simple. When faced with a situation or problem, those afflicted by an anxiety disorder are prone to respond much stronger than expected to the stress. Even after the issue is resolved, doubt and worry may linger for a long time. Feelings of anxiety may come up for no reason at random times, and, despite there being no conflict, it can feel impossible to manage. Much of the anxiety that arises from these disorders may be unrealistic, like an overwhelming fear of a situation that will probably never occur. Whether you're facing a poor report card or an endless chain of what-ifs, it is important to learn to manage anxiety in whatever way works for you. I'm Tristan Zuderveen.
Let's rejoin Alexa outside for a look at our 3-day forecast. Alexa?
Could it be we have seen the last of snow? Let's have a look at our 3-day forecast. Wednesday, there is a chance of showers with a high of 21. Thursday, more showers and a high of 16. And Friday, it will remain soggy and cooler with a high of 9. That's it from me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you in the studio, Simranjeet.
Wish you and your family were more prepared for a possible natural disaster. Zachary Bellog's got you covered.
Whether it be severe thunderstorms or tornadoes, both can cause a catastrophic outcome. So I will be sharing some tips on how to keep you and your family safe. First, go to the basement or a small interior room and stay away from windows. This will keep you safe from shattered glass. Second, have a weather radio next to you in case of nocturnal tornadoes. It will sound an alarm to wake you up when a warning is issued, because if there is one in your neighborhood, you might not see it coming, and then it may be too late. Lastly, if you are on the road and you see a tornado coming, pull over and do not outrun it. Instead, get into a ditch. Yes, I said a ditch. Remember, you can't outrun a tornado can outrun you. I hope those tips helped you for the storm season that lies ahead. For this Weather Minute, I'm Zachary Ballog.
With COVID stay-at-home orders, youth supports has taken a toll. Tyler Clapp explains.
The cancellation of youth sports by COVID-19 is creating many side effects. A recent survey by Ipsos found 74% of children are feeling lonely and isolated due to canceled sports. Whether or not a youth sport can continue during COVID relies on how many players there are, how far apart they are from each other, and shared equipment. Tom Laporte is the president of Riverside Minor Baseball League. He said the effects are not just physical.
Children, especially at the ages that we have from 8 to 15 or so, they learn so much about interaction with people, and not having that interaction is going to really leave a hole in their development.
Despite this, others in youth sports are helping players as best they can, with Canadian Tire donating $12 million to sport organizations. Mike Hugel is a coach at Walker Home Sites Athletic Club, another baseball league. He said he is supporting the team through speakers.
Well, my brother-in-law's brother, actually, he is a strength and conditioning coach with the LA Angels, and he talks with our coaches about how to, properly promote strength and conditioning to youth players.
While young people are struggling amid canceled sports, it appears those leading it are doing their best. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tyler Clapp.
Fashion, design, and function all come together in this story by Liam Major.
How do you put on your shoes? There's a good chance that you use shoelaces, but Nike has been releasing models lately that aim to be accessible to those that can't. However, the newest model from Nike's accessible shoe line is thought by some to not be so accessible after all. The new Nike Go Fly Ease model, releasing March 19th, is designed to easily snap onto the wearer's foot, as well as snap off all completely hands-free. The shoes are currently unreleased, except for a members-only drop on the Nike website. However, models have already appeared on websites like StockX, where pairs are selling for over $500 USD. Gabriel and Cooper Riazzi are a couple from Akron, Ohio. Gabriel says that there are many different health factors that these shoes could assist with, and that people with those factors should get access first.
Cooper said, like, his grandma could use it. She's 92. Like, she can't tie shoes currently. Someone like Cooper, and Cooper's been through a lot medically in the last year and has lost some movement. Help those that need access to it get it. Just make more of shoes with this technology.
Cooper has had physical issues for years, and he says that these shoes could be revolutionary, but that Nike is limiting them.
Oh, it changes their routine, but unfortunately I'm unable to be guaranteed a pair, and millions of people are unfortunately guaranteed not to get a pair because people that don't need them medically are going to get first stamps and all that stuff.
The Riazzi suggested that Nike should provide a channel to ensure those who need the shoes get them on their feet first. For MediaPlex News, I'm Liam Major.
With many families at home during these times, how are they all handling being under one roof? Wafal Kudimi reports.
It has been more than a year since the outbreak of coronavirus here in Canada. Life has changed in many aspects worldwide. Schools and even children's play areas are closed. So how was the connection between parents and their children during this pandemic? Salma Riz is a mother of two kids, 12 and 11.
As a family, it's good that we sit together most of the time, and there is something habits in my children. I didn't know it before. I knew it this year, what they like more. Studying online, it's good seeing them most of the time, what they are doing, what they are, and how they act with their teacher.
While children are spending their school time at home, many are concerned about how that impacts them and what about their relationship with their parents. Adam Amber is a grade 6 student.
I miss playing outdoors in the activities and playing with my friends, but on the other hand, I love playing with my mom, my dad. We interact with each other and we have fun.
Although it was a difficult year because of this pandemic, but it allowed parents and children to gather and interact more. For MediaPlex News, I am Wafal Kudimi.
The Eatery is opening up once more at St. Clair College. But as Albert Shah found out, there is a little twist.
Down here at St. Clair College's main campus, Eatery 101 is serving up a different kind of meal than usual. Let's take a look. Eatery 101 is a restaurant operated by the St. Clair College culinary program. However, due to public health measures, the restaurant was forced to pivot, now offering take-home meal kits for customers to prepare the meals themselves. Trevor Pitcher has been a frequent customer of Eatery 101 during the pandemic.
I tried all the options, to be frank with you, and it was incredibly convenient and easy to work with. And so we kind of really were surprised by how easy it was and how good, I'm not exactly much of a chef, I'm more of a scientist, but how readily I was able to make a good meal by following the instructions they provided.
According to Chef Maurice Boire, the new system offers a chance to teach not only his students, but the public as well.
Repeat customers is something that we're seeing a lot of. People who like the concept of going home and having a meal prepared for you, and at the end of it, all you have left over is 2 or 3 dirty dishes. Those are the customers that are that we're seeing repeated.
So when you're ordering out, consider Eatery 101 and bring the taste of class home with you. For MediaPlex News, I'm Albert Sharp.
Now let's take a special tour of the MediaPlex with Tristan Girovine.
In March 2020, the St. Clair College MediaPlex was temporarily closed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Though some classes have returned to in-person learning, the shift from every day to once a week is still drastic. With the rise in popularity of virtual reality and gaming creating a new way to interact, we took it upon ourselves to create something more familiar. Redesigned to fit within the building limits of Minecraft, This full-scale replica of the MediaPlex allows us to take a tour around the campus we know and love. The computer labs and classrooms on the lower level, commonly used for students in the Public Relations program, are complete with seating arrangements from memory. One of 3 student lounge areas, the small kitchenette allows for snacks between classes. On the second floor, the computer lab and classrooms are readily available and usually occupied by students from the journalism and media convergence programs. Classroom 119 is the most used computer lab for journalism students, whether it be for research or editing purposes. The newsroom is the heart of the MediaPlex. For aspiring news reporters, there are 4 individual editing suites. For future radio personalities, there's a fully equipped, state-of-the-art radio production booth. And for journalists who are aiming for the spotlight, there is a professional-level TV broadcast studio and control room, making the MediaPlex a journalist's ideal home away from home. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tristan Zuderveen, logging off.
Journalism students here at the MediaPlex have always participated in national competitions. But as Zach Bellog reports, this time the competition is from right here, at the St. Clair College.
The St. Clair College Genesis Center is holding an event called the Ford Capstone Project. This competition is designed to showcase students from all programs to high-level industry executives who are potential employers. Susan Taylor, supervisor at the Genesis Entrepreneurship Center, said why this is important for the students.
It's that job interview mindset that we're looking for.
The projects presented by students can be as an individual or group and will be in the form of a 5-minute pitch outlining and showcasing either a capstone project they have worked on or other projects that showcase their innovation and skill set. Albert Sharp, a student at St. Clair College, feels very optimistic about being one of the top 20 teams chosen.
I feel confident I'm at least going to make it past this first round. I'm, fingers crossed. If I don't, I have no idea what anyone else is putting forward.
Presentations for the projects will occur on April 27th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you plan on attending the event, you are asked to pre-register. For MediaPlex News, I'm Zachary Ballog.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Simranjeet Kaur and you have been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.